Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alicia and thank you so much for being here. Happy June 2024. We are nearing the end of June. In today's reading vlog, we are reading The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I have never read any books from her. I don't even know, maybe this is her only book. I am not sure, but this book came out 12 years ago. Okay, it came out in August of 2012, but I swear this book took BookTube by storm 2 to 3 years ago. Right after 2020, everyone, it felt like to me, was reading this book on BookTube, on YouTube. And I really thought this book came out a few years ago, but no, it came out almost 12 years ago. I'm sort of blown away by that. This has 416 pages, pretty lengthy for a Greek reimagining. It's a Greek retelling. It has over 1.6 million reviews across Amazon and Goodreads, and it has between a 4.3 and a 4.6 star rating. So seems as if people love this book. My only hesitance with it is considered a tragic love story alongside an epic love story, but the word tragic is typically synonymous with someone dying. And since this is a reimagining, it's a retelling of Homer's The Iliad, and we know that they die in the Iliad, so I don't know if one is going to die at the end of the book or if they're both going to die at the end of the book, but I'm not completely up to date with my Greek retellings or my Greek knowledge, because it has been a while since I've been in middle school and high school when we were learning about mythology. I'm 37 years old, but I'm pretty sure, long story short, on the Iliad, if you want the short version, I believe the Trojan War was going on. I think it went on for 10 years, but the Greeks were dying left and right. And Achilles would not enter the war. He was not going to do it for reasons that you can Google. And Patroclus thought, look, I'm just gonna dress up as Achilles and I'll go into the war. Well, then Hector murdered Patroclus, and then Achilles went to go exact his revenge, and then he murdered Hector, and then the book ends. But I know Achilles was also killed, and his funeral is mentioned in the next book, in the Odyssey, but Hector's brother Paris came after Achilles and killed him. It's a whole thing. But this is a retelling, and it's a love story. So Achilles and Patroclus are together in this book, and it makes me so excited. I can't wait to read it, even though I'm pretty sure at the end we're gonna lose one of them or both of them, because that's what happened in the original story. But let's just hop into it and see what we think. I have just finished the first chapter, which is only a couple of pages. It's barely four. That's the fourth page. Not a whole lot. But I don't know whose perspective we're reading it from, but it starts with an arranged marriage. I mean, I'm sure we're reading it from Patroclus or Achilles' perspective, but it starts with an arranged marriage, and the girl was 14 years old when she got married. Not sure how old the guy was, but he wasn't allowed to see her or see what she looked like until the wedding. And so she's there and her veil is over her face, and when it gets lifted off, he looks at her and she smiles at him, this 14-year-old girl, because she's getting married. Maybe she's happy about that. And she smiles, and he thinks, and that's when I knew she was dumb. She was quite stupid. Brides do not smile. Okay, so whoever she married is horrible. So I don't know who this husband is. And then it continues. I guess the father doesn't like his son, because now at the age of 5 years old, the son is just very skinny and tiny and scrawny, and he's not fast. And I guess there were some games. They were hosting games. He couldn't join because he was too slow. And then somebody won. Someone that was a prince won. And the father looks at the son, the one telling the story, and says, that's what a son should be. What did I just read? And from whose perspective did I read that from? I'm trying to give an update in this terrible lighting of the kitchen, but my sweet little boy cat just wants all the attention and love. Patroclus's dad is trying to marry him off to Helen. So they journey on donkeys to see Helen and her father. When they get there, there's so many kings and sons of the kings. And I mean, Patroclus, his dad, is a king as well. He's the son of a king. But the other thing is, they're all around 20 years old trying to win over Helen. We don't know how old Helen is, but do you want to know how old Patroclus is? He is 9 years old. I'm sorry, what? She doesn't choose him, obviously. And then one of the kings goes to talk to Patroclus's dad, and he says, hey, I'm sorry to hear about the death of your wife. What? But then he says back to him, my wife lives. I'm here for my son. What, did they think he was there to marry Helen? I'm just assuming Helen is probably a teenager. This book is reading, it's very slow. I'm reading it very slowly. I was warned in Amazon reviews that this book starts off painfully slow. I just want to know how painfully slow this is going to be because it's boring. Y'all, I don't know what I'm reading, and that makes me feel really bad because this is just, it's kind of boring. So Patroclus did do something that was interesting to read. He did something and now he's exiled, but I'm confused about how this exile is working. He is on an island and he appears to be with a bunch of other boys that have also been exiled, but then at the same time, Achilles and his king father and their whole castle, you know, wherever they live, it's huge. And did they adopt all these boys that have been exiled? It's as if Achilles and his dad just have all of these orphan boys. And Patroclus is 10 now. He's 10 years old, by the way. But everyone's an orphan, it seems like, except for Achilles, because his dad is there. They live there. But I don't know. I'm confused about what is going on this island. Also, they're all having to train. I mean, I'm sure we know they're training for the Trojan War, but that has not been mentioned. Patroclus is just training every day. I'm bored. I'm really bored. And I was warned about this, and I need to get through it. I feel like I've read so much, and I have not read much at all. I have finished the first 10% of the book, and Achilles and Patroclus just got some time alone together, and then it ended. That chapter ended with Achilles saying, okay, come on, let's go find my dad. Let's tell him that you've been with me. It's weird because this is the first time that they've really hung out together. Achilles, I don't know, seems sort of like aloof and different. I don't know. I also don't know his age. I feel like maybe they're the same age, but I'm not sure. But remember, Patroclus is 10 years old. So in his point of view, he is noticing Achilles. I mean, his hair color, his eyes, the look on his face, his mouth, his body. This is a 10-year-old describing who I think is another 10-year-old. So I'm just not on board with this. It's disgusting to me. I don't want to read about a 10-year-old's body. I don't even know if I can say that on YouTube. But I don't know. I'm grossed out. I need them to age up. I need them to get older because I'm just not. Bleh. Achilles has decided that he wants Patroclus to be his companion. I don't know. I know women back in the days had that. They had a ladies' companion. Well, I guess men can have it too, or little boys that are 10 years old. So now Patroclus has moved out of the room where he's living with all these other boys that have been exiled to this island, and all of his things have been moved to Achilles' room. So they don't share a bed. Patroclus has a cot, so he stays in there, but it's just weird, y'all. This is just weird. And then Achilles says, oh, hey, come train with me. And so Patroclus goes with him, and then Patroclus says, fight me. Let's fight. And then they're rolling around together, and they're 10. I think Achilles is 10 years old. Patroclus surely is. And it's just It's weird. I think Achilles' mom is a sea nymph, so she lives in the sea, but he goes to visit her all the time. And I guess that's the story I read in the first few chapters of a sea nymph getting graped without the G. And I just did not understand why I was reading that paragraph. And it was in the middle of a chapter, and it just cut to this random paragraph, and then it went back to its regularly scheduled programming. I don't know, it was so weird. But now I think I'm realizing that what I had read was Achilles' dad graping the sea nymph, and that's how Achilles was born. So Achilles goes to visit her all the time, and Achilles has to make the decision if he wants to be a god or not. I guess there's some sort of prophecy with him, and his mom just says that he's even stronger than Hercules, and I don't know, he has to make a decision at some point. And in the last chapter that I read, 2 years went by, and we also found out his age. They're the same age. So now Achilles and Patroclus are both 12 years old. They're 13 now, which is still not old enough in my eyes. They're 13 years old, and they have kissed just once. One time they have kissed, and a warm drop of pleasure spread beneath Patroclus' skin. I don't need to read that about a 13-year-old boy. He's a boy. But then again, I don't know. They're all, even at the age of 12, everyone is just banging the slaves and the servants, and they're all getting pregnant. And Achilles and Patroclus have not hooked up with anyone, even though even Achilles' dad is trying to get Achilles to hook up with one of the servant girls. Some housekeeper girl keeps looking for him, and his dad mentions it, and he says, you should go find her. And Achilles' excuse every time is, oh, I'm tired. Not tonight, I'm tired. And then finally his dad says, she could probably wake you up. Oh, I don't know. I guess that's just what you do when you're, I don't know, in the old school Greek world. You hook up super soon, super young in life. But yeah, they've kissed once, and they were out on the beach, and I guess because Achilles' mom is a sea nymph, I don't know if she can hear things, see things, but she knew, and she threatened Patroclus and said he's leaving tomorrow. I think Achilles is going to go train somewhere else now, but they're 13 right now. I am past the 20% mark, and Achilles he's headed to train elsewhere. He's with a centaur, the half man, half horse. That's kind of cool. And Patroclus goes to figure out where he is. I guess Patroclus, I don't know, maybe had a hint of where Achilles was headed to. And Achilles is saying, oh my gosh, I knew it. I just knew you would come after me. Oh, I just wasn't sure, but I'm so glad. They are still 13. Where are we going with this? Also, no mention of the Trojan War. I'm trying not to be a Debbie Downer. I'm trying not to be negative about this book. I'm very bored. I'm at the 25% mark, and I had to get on Google to ask because I'm just so bored. Was that my cat? I had to Google why they're with this centaur and when they're going to get where they're going, but I guess they're where they're supposed to be. That cave that they stay in every night, I guess that's just where the centaur lives. Just Achilles was supposed to leave and go be with him for a couple years and just train with him. I really just thought they were on a journey to go somewhere. In the last chapter that I read, they turned 14. I think at some point with this reimagining, I think Helen is going to get kidnapped, and that's what sparks the Trojan War, but nothing has happened. There's been no mention of Helen since Patroclus was 9 years old and his dad tried to marry him off. Can you see my cat? I don't know if you can see her. My girl cat, she gets really scared, especially when I'm filming, and she'll run. I can hear her breathing. She might dive off the chair soon. So we're at the 30% mark. They are 16, and I'm just gonna have to deal with it because there was some spice and it was so good. Oh my gosh. It was just so loving. I don't know. And neither one of them knew if the other one was going to be okay with it. It just, oh my gosh. I love that. I love that. Maybe now I'm into this book. And then, of course, someone comes running through the woods. Prince Achilles, Prince Achilles. He's screaming, he's shouting. And Achilles comes out and he says, what? What is up? And the guy says, your dad is summoning you. He needs you back at the palace. Something has happened. I'm sure we know what it is. I'm sure it's Helen being kidnapped, but he doesn't say. He just says, your dad's going to make an announcement and you need to be there. I think I'm going to get ready for bed and go to bed and just check in with y'all tomorrow. Okay, I had to read another chapter. I just had to. I was getting invested. So there is a war that is happening because Queen Helen of Sparta has been kidnapped by Paris, which we all know from the Iliad. Paris is Hector's brother. They have not mentioned Hector, though, in the book yet. And in the Iliad, we know that Achilles doesn't want to go to war for reasons, and so Patroclus dresses up as Achilles and goes into war. Well, in this reimagining, it's a little bit different. Also, I don't know what y'all want me to tell you. I mean, this is a reimagining, but we all know what happened in the Iliad, so I don't know if anything that I'm telling y'all is going to spoil anything for you. I don't know, because right now they're in that dilemma. Achilles doesn't want to go to war, but with Patroclus, it's a little bit different. There was an oath from many years ago. He kind of is being forced to go into war, but since his dad had disowned him and he was exiled to that island, technically he's not his father's son anymore. He's an orphan. So I don't know. Achilles' dad is putting it all back on Achilles. You can fight if you want to. You don't have to. You can make Patroclus go, or you don't have to. I don't know. I mean, they're in love with each other, so I don't think either one of them wants to go to war. They're still 16. I don't think they're 17 yet, but I'm not sure. I don't know what's going on. They're trying to figure it out, and I don't know what y'all want me to tell you. I don't want to get yelled at for ruining the book for anyone, but I mean, it's a loose reimagining of the Iliad. I don't really know if anything that I'm telling y'all is going to be a spoiler, because it's basically what happened in the Iliad, just now they're gay. It's the Iliad, but make it gay. Happy Pride. So I'm not sure, but I am now officially gonna get ready for bed and go to sleep, and I will check back in with y'all tomorrow. Bye. Hey everybody, it is the next day and I'm actually standing. I just got ready because I'm going to a spouse's potluck. So I live on a military base in Japan. I am not sure if I've said that in this video. I know I've talked about Japan in other videos of mine, but most of our spouses are deployed right now. So the spouses that are remaining, we're having a potluck tonight, and I made some homemade like bacon wrapped stuffed jalapenos, but instead of jalapenos, because those just don't seem to exist in Japan, I used green bell peppers. So I have my iPad next to me and I've got 27 seconds. But I just finished getting ready for that. Those are about to be ready, and then I'm leaving here. What time is it? It's 5:17. Oh, okay. Well, it starts at 6 o'clock, and it's in my building, so I just have to go downstairs a couple flights. But I have not read any of this today. I've just been kind of hanging out, but I'm gonna read, I guess, for maybe the next 40 minutes until I go to the potluck, and then I'm gonna read more whenever I get home. Apologies for the lighting. I'm in my kitchen. I took these out of the oven and then I put them back in for about another 15 minutes. They look so good. Okay, so I read some more. I'm close to the 40% mark. I'm not into this book, but I'm curious to see where it's going. And at least things are happening now. We're out of the character development phase, which is all the beginning was. So now things are happening. So there's a war looming, and Patroclus and Achilles are together, and no one knows it, but they they share a room because Patroclus is technically Achilles' companion, but when they were gone for those couple of years with the centaur, the cot that Patroclus used to sleep on got removed from Achilles' room. So then when they came home, they just started sharing a bed together. And I don't know how no one has picked up on that, but whatever. Well, I guess Achilles' mom, I mean, she knows what's up and she does not want them together. So she kidnaps Achilles in the middle of the night. Patroclus wakes up and cannot find him. And he's searching everywhere and he's asking the king. And finally, he threatens the king. And the king just says, oh, he's, I don't know, at a place I can't pronounce. And it's super far away. It takes about a month journey on a boat to get there. And then this is the confusing part. Let me just lay down. This is the confusing part. So Patroclus gets there to this other island and there's a woman there. There's a princess and she's just being coy with Patroclus and he's trying to like ask her all these questions and she's just saying, you should come to dinner tonight and then maybe I'll help you out. Maybe I'll find the person that you're looking for. And he's not saying Achilles' name. He's just saying, I'm looking for a man or a boy because they're teenagers, but I'm looking for someone who came here about a month ago. And she just says, have you ever heard of me? Have you ever heard of me and my women? And then he goes to the dinner and she comes out, this princess, walks out with 24 women. So there's a total of 25 of them. And they're putting on this performance and this dance and they're all wearing dresses and whatnot. And she has her partner and they're googly eyes for each other and dancing. And then you find out, I don't understand this, but you find out that her partner is wearing a dress, appears to be a woman, but it's secretly Achilles. And Achilles sees Patroclus in the audience and just goes and jumps on him and is hugging on him and he's so happy. But everyone doesn't know that this is Achilles. They think this is a woman. And he's just saying, oh, my husband came to get me, because he's not using the name Patroclus. Achilles is just saying, oh, this is my husband. He's come to rescue me. Sorry, princess, whatever her name is. But I guess we're 2 women allowed to get married. I don't know, because then the princess's dad, that king, there's so many kings, he shows up and the princess is wailing. She's crying so hard and saying that they're married. And then she like yells it out, like, I know who this is. I know it's Achilles and he's actually a man. I've been married to a man this whole time. What? I'm so confused. What was happening? And I guess it's all because Achilles' perspective is that his mom kidnapped him in the middle of the night because she doesn't want him to go to war. But in Patroclus' perspective, which I am on Patroclus' side, that Achilles' mom kidnapped him because she doesn't want him to be with Patroclus. I don't know what I just read. It was 20-something pages. It was a very long chapter, but I'm gonna pack these up and get ready to go. Don't these look so good? I made 10 of them. And then I don't know what there is to drink over there. This is just a sparkling water. Okay, I am about to walk out my door. I'm past the 40% mark and I don't know what I just read. Some things have happened and everyone's losing their virginities to each other. We'll just say that. Okay, well, I'm gonna go to that potluck with my poppers and I'm gonna bring my can of sparkling water and we'll just see if I read some more whenever I get home. All right, outfit check. If you can see that, I use my back facing camera, so I never know what's on camera until I go back and watch footage, but I'll be back after this potluck. I am back from the potluck and it is nighttime. It's definitely dark right now, so I have y'all in between my lamps, so I don't really know if you can see anything. I don't even know what I can see. I use the back-facing camera on my iPhone. Okay, so I've been reading a little bit more, and someone has approached Patroclus and asked him, do you know about the war? Did you know war is coming? Do you want to join? Do you want to be a soldier? And Patroclus is just saying, I don't think I'd be very good at it. And then the guy said, that's what everybody says until they join my army. So I don't know, there's that. I mean, at the moment, I think Patroclus is telling him no, but that guy is supposed to be on this island for a couple more days. I guess he's recruiting. So we'll see what happens with that. And then there was some man that came to the dinner table. I don't know, this book confuses me, but I don't know if he's looking for a wife or what, but he brought a bunch of trinkets and perfumes and whatnot, and all the ladies at the table are looking at everything, and Achilles is still pretending to be a woman, so he's wearing a dress, and he's holding up some earrings and just trying to get a feel for how he would look in them. And then something happens. All the women start screaming, except for Achilles, because he's not actually a woman. And then everyone draws their swords, I guess because war is closer than we thought. And then Achilles also draws a sword. And then I guess 2 other dudes appear and they say, oh, Achilles, we've been looking for you. So, I don't know, maybe he's just been caught. I don't want to be negative about this book. I don't know how I feel about it, and I'm sorry about that. I am officially at the 50% mark. I stopped right when I got to the 50% mark so that I could check in with you. Am I too dumb to be reading this book? Maybe I'm not jiving with the author's writing. I don't know what's going on. I think right now, Patroclus and Achilles both are going into war. I think that's what's happening, but I'm not 100% sure because I just don't understand this writing, and I keep rereading sentences, and I'm sorry, but I'm not getting it. I don't understand. Why? Can someone explain to me? Did anyone else have this problem? I'm about to look up Amazon and Goodreads reviews, because I can't be the only one that is so confused by this author's writing. The way she writes, the way her sentences are structured. It's confusing me. They are headed to Troy to fight in the war, and at the moment they're both headed there, Patroclus and Achilles, but I'm pretty sure we know how that's gonna go down. They're both not gonna fight in the war, but okay. Also, I went online and I read some reviews, and yeah, I guess I'm not the only one that cannot understand the writing. A lot of people are saying that it's very lyrical and flowery and just too descriptive. I don't even want to say it's too descriptive, but lyrical and flowery, that sounds about right. My cat just wanted to say hello. He's blocking me from reading, but it's fine because I'm messaging my husband right now. But hi from the both of us. Minnie is, if you can see her, Minnie's right there. Sweet baby girl. Just hanging out. It's almost 11 p.m. I might call it soon. I might get ready for bed soon. Oh, and just continue this tomorrow. So they have been traveling for 5 days. Everyone is cheering on Prince Achilles, Prince Achilles. All the Spartans are there, and everyone's just trying to figure out, can we really defeat an army of Trojans as we go to Troy to head into the Trojan War? People are questioning it, but at the same time, people are chanting his name, just saying that with the prophecy, Achilles is going to be the reason that we win this war. And I guess they'll be at Troy by tomorrow. Oh my gosh. Okay, so they were supposed to travel to Troy tomorrow, but there was no wind. It was just stagnant, hot, humid, sandy where they are. And then days passed, weeks passed, 1 month passed, 2 months passed. There was no wind. And so everyone was approaching Achilles to talk to his mom because she's a goddess, and she was saying it was the gods that were doing it. They took away the wind because without wind, they can't sail on their boats to Troy. They need the wind. And it's been months. And then someone approached someone about getting married. And I guess back then, I mean, men and women, they didn't have to meet each other. These teenagers, I mean, the girl was 14, the wife to be. But they didn't need to know each other or date or court. They just met at the altar. So someone approached a man and said, hey, you want to marry my daughter? And then he said yes. So then the next day they're having the wedding. It just happened so quickly. They're having the wedding, and then they get to the altar, and then someone else drags the 14-year-old girl away and slits her throat, and she's a human sacrifice. And then now all of a sudden there's wind again, and now they're leaving in the morning to head to Troy. I'm sorry, what the heck am I reading? They have made it to Troy. It took them a couple of more days. We've been reading a lot about traveling, but they're there, and as soon as they pulled up on their ship, sailboat, whatever you want to call it, immediately everyone on Hector's side was attacking all the Trojans, and it's bloody and gory, and everyone's thinking, oh my gosh, it's happening right now. We thought we were going to sneak up upon the Trojans, but it seems as if they were tipped off. They were waiting for them. So that's where we're at. I am gonna go to bed now. I'm gonna get ready for bed and go lay down. It's about 11:40 p.m. Oh, so I'm gonna do that, and then I'll just check back in with y'all tomorrow. Have a good night. Hello, everybody. Okay, it is the next day. It's, I don't know, I would say late in the morning, early afternoon. It's about 11:45 a.m. I am going with one of my girlfriends. She dresses up as Disney princesses and does birthday parties, so I'm going to be her royal attendant in a couple of hours with a birthday party over in Yokosuka, so about 30-40 minutes away. So I've been reading a little bit more. Okay, so the Trojans ambushed them on the beach when the Greeks rolled up to the beach. So then they had a whole meeting about strategies and whatnot, and then it was decided that tomorrow it would only be a king's raid. So the king or the kings would choose who was going to go into battle tomorrow, and Patroclus was not added to that list, but Achilles was. So they spend their night together. There hasn't been any more smut, by the way. There was just that one spicy scene a long time ago, it feels like. But Achilles went into war today, and he killed 12 people, and he's talking to Patroclus about it because he's home and he's covered in blood, and just saying that it was so easy. He just didn't know it was going to be that easy to kill these people. And Patroclus is not happy about it. He says, oh, did you murder 12 farmers? And Achilles said, look, I didn't murder anyone that was unarmed. I would never touch an unarmed man. But these men were coming after me. They had weapons, so I went back and I won. I don't know when Patroclus is going to go into war, but Achilles sure is going into war, which is different from what we know in Greek mythology. So that's kind of interesting. Okay, I'm trying to give y'all an update, but my little cat child just wants to hang out with me. Okay, so more raids are going on, and Patroclus is not part of these raids. Achilles is going every day, and it's crazy. They go on these raids, and they murder all of these men, all the fathers of all these daughters, because the men and sons are out fighting no matter what their age is. And so they're pillaging these places and bringing back everything that they've stolen, including the women and daughters and wives. And so then they're holding I don't know, it's like sex trafficking. It's terrible. And these Greek kings are just choosing different women to have, and Patroclus and Achilles keep trying to get as many women as they can. Like, oh, we want her, we want to take her. And Achilles gets first choice, so he's got 11 women now. But it's so crazy because these women think that they're being, kind of sold off into sex slavery and also just slavery. They're doing chores around these camps and bringing them food and whatnot. But Patroclus and Achilles have to keep showing these women, no, look, we're with each other. Like, we don't want you. We don't want to grape you. We don't want to do anything to you. We want you to be okay. We want nothing bad to happen to you, actually, which is why we're taking you so that no one else can get you. But they have 11 of them now in their own tent, and it's interesting. But Achilles is still going on these raids every day. Patroclus is still not going. Still not really sure what's up with that, but we're past the 60% mark. I want to say we're closer to the 70% mark. I still don't know how I feel about this book. So we got some tidbits on Helen, because remember, the entire war is because Helen was kidnapped by a man named Paris. We got some insight on Helen, Paris, and Paris's brother Hector. And then I'm not sure why, but Achilles can't kill Hector. He's not allowed to. And as long as he doesn't kill Hector, Achilles won't die. I don't know. I'm still confused by that. And also, they're having these raids day after day after day. It has been 2 months now, but I don't understand because sometimes after 7 or 8 days in a row of these raids, they'll stop the war for festivals and funerals. I'm sorry, what? Well, on both sides will just decide, okay, let's not fight today because we should have a festival. Let's not go to battle today because we need to have some funerals for all of the fallen. What? I am just lost in the sauce now because Patroclus, I mean, I swear it was out of the blue. He just stopped fighting in the war. There was one of the doctors or the surgeons, he's helping all the Greeks because they've got, arrows through their shoulders and, they're all hurt. So the ones that are surviving but still injured, there's someone there to take care of them. Well, Patroclus starts watching this doctor and watching what he's doing. And Patroclus knows all about the salves and what to put under their nose and on their tongue to make them kind of pass out and not feel pain. And then what salves to put on you to prevent infection. He knows all these things from when the centaur was training Achilles for those couple of years. That centaur taught Patroclus kind of how to be a doctor, how to help yourself and help with wounds and prevent infection. And so Patroclus is watching this doctor help all these Greeks that are injured, and then he says, oh, you trained with that centaur, you can come in and help me. And then I guess Patroclus just kind of became a doctor overnight. It didn't really say it, but it just said a month passed and then 2, and then there was the miracle of a year and then 2. So has it been 2 years? The writing in this book, I just don't understand this writing. But it seems like Patroclus has been a doctor for the last 2 years, and Achilles is still going out into battle every day and fighting and killing people. I am in my kitchen eating a late lunch. It's about 1:30 p.m. and I'm about to leave around 1:45. So I think I might be done reading for today. More time has passed. It's now been 8 years that they've been in the war, and by year 4, the men just started losing their minds and saying, we're done with this. When can we go home? We have wives back home, even though we've all taken on wives here, and we have children back home, even though there's children here at this camp, because it's been 4 years and nothing's happening. Where is Helen? Where's Paris? Why can't we kill Hector? Why can't Achilles kill Hector? And they kind of started, raiding against the king, essentially, and just throwing fits and saying, we don't want to do this anymore. And so Achilles was saying, I mean, you're free to leave. If you leave, I take all your treasure, though, everything that you've made over the last 4 years. And then, I don't know, I guess it subsided. People stopped wanting to leave. But then they started turning their campsite into a town. Okay, you are in Troy. You are in an area that is not yours. You've set up your little battlefield camp. This is where y'all sleep. You have your tents. But all of these women are getting pregnant. There's children everywhere. I mean, so they just made a little town out of it. I'm sorry, what? They just got really comfortable, and it's all so cute. And now we're 8 years in, and I mean, Patroclus still isn't fighting because he is a doctor now. Achilles is still fighting. I don't know. It's the strangest thing. This is the strangest war, and they still take days off so that they can have festivals and funerals, and I don't understand. But anyways, I'm going to eat my pasta and then get ready to leave, so I'm not sure if I'll check back in with y'all. Okay, I am leaving. Outfit check. Okay, I will see y'all maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. Bye. Hello, everybody. It is the next morning, and of course, like clockwork, every time I'm ready to film, my little boy cat just has to join us. So I don't have a whole lot of time. It's about 9:50 a.m. right now, and I need to leave around 10:30. And I just made early lunch. I made some chicken because I needed to make my chicken before it goes bad. But I've been reading this some more, and they're in their 10th year. This war has been going on for a while, and there's a plague going on, and they have learned it's a plague from one of the Trojans, a priest, because his daughter was kidnapped, stolen, just taken by the Greeks, and she's being, manhandled by one of the Greeks. It's pretty disgusting. The book, it's not on paper, it's not on page, but I hate it. And then remember, Patroclus and Achilles keep adopting women. They keep bringing women into their little group, and everyone thinks that they're, marrying all these women, they're hooking up with all these women. No one knows that Achilles and Patroclus are together, and they're just rescuing these women. They have, 11 of them, I think, and they've never touched them. They've never had sex with them. Well, now that it's been learned that the priest's daughter, she's alive, since all this bad stuff is happening to her, I don't know why they didn't kill the dad. The priest has come forward from the Trojans saying, release my daughter. And I guess he's a king priest, and he's a king of, there were 3 things, but one of them was plague. He's a king of plague. And so there is a plague now breaking out among all of the men, only the men, not the women, and only among, I guess, the ones that are doing wrong, because Patroclus and Achilles are not sick. And it's a horrible plague. It's so disgusting to read about. There's blood boils and pus and bloody bowels, and y'all don't want to hear about all that. It's nasty. And the camp smells, it's so gross. So now Achilles has gone to, I don't know, whatever the other king's name is that kidnapped this priest's daughter, and says, just let her go. Let her free. Let her go back to her dad, her king priest, because this is the reason that there's a plague going on and we're losing our men left and right. And he's refusing, and finally he says, okay, well, I want one of your women if I let this priest girl, this daughter, go. And they want the woman that Patroclus and Achilles, I think she was the first one that they rescued, and she speaks multiple languages, and they've grown really close to her, especially Patroclus. This is his gal pal. And so Achilles, I don't know what has happened. It's like he's had a change of heart on this girl, and he doesn't care that they're about to free the priest's daughter, let her go, and then that king that kidnapped her is going to come and take this girl, this wife of Patroclus and Achilles. And I don't know, Achilles just doesn't care, and I don't know why, but this girl is gal pals with Patroclus, so Patroclus is going to warn her, but I don't know. I don't like this book. I'm so sorry. Okay, I am leaving. I'm not sure when I'll be back. I am meeting up with one of my girlfriends, and then she met a new Navy wife whose husband is also deployed. So we're gonna go to this coffee roastery. I guess it's on a mountain, and I think you can see Mount Fuji from where it is. I'm not really sure. I don't know all the specs, but I'm super excited. And we're gonna get coffee, and then I'm not sure if it's a cafe. I don't know if we can get food. I think we can get desserts there, which is why I ate early. I had an early lunch, because I'm not really sure if we're just getting coffee and some ice cream, but we'll see. But this is the outfit for today. Again, I don't know when I'll be back, but I'm close to the 80% mark, and I'm over this book. I'm sorry. I thought I would love this book. I really thought it was going to be this cute romance. I don't know. It's not. It's just boring and about war. And I do like reading books about war, but I don't know. It's just pillaging and raiding and collecting women. I don't know. That's it. That's all that's going on. But anyways, I will check out in with y'all whenever I have more to say. Bye. Hello, I am back. It is about 6 p.m. I was gone most of the day, but I'm going to finish this book. You can see where I'm at. I made a protein pancake, so I'm gonna eat this for dinner and then get to reading. I don't like Achilles right now. But Patroclus, he saved this woman. They call her a girl, whatever. I'm sure she's around their age. How old are they now? 20, 21, I don't know. We're in our 10th year of the war. I think they're in their 20s, but Achilles, he has so much pride. Too much pride and honor. And Patroclus does not care. And he sort of went against Achilles, and Achilles said it, oh, so you went against me. But he did it to save that person from getting raped by another person. Achilles has so much pride, too much pride, and he's so mad at that other king that he's refusing to fight in the war now. It's like he's throwing a fit. Even here, the next morning, all of the other kings marched off with their armies to fight the Trojans. But not Achilles. Achilles did not follow. He lingered over breakfast. And why should he not? And there's nothing else for us to do anyways. This is Patroclus talking. We can swim if we like. We can race all day. We haven't had such leisure in so long. Boy, yet it doesn't feel like leisure. It feels like a held breath. Yeah, because everyone is fighting in the war. And what are y'all doing? I mean, Patroclus isn't fighting in the war at all. But Achilles, bro, I'm ready for this book to be over. Achilles still doesn't seem to care about Briseis being sort of held captive in that other tent. Although nothing has happened, she hasn't been graped, minus the G. Just making sure y'all catch on to me when I say that word, that y'all really know what I'm talking about. But Patroclus, I mean, they are gal pals, her and Patroclus. And he goes in there to tell her, you need to go. You need to escape. The Trojans are coming to the campsite tomorrow. They're going to take everything, burn everything down. They're going to take you. But she was part of the Trojans. She's one of those people. And she keeps saying, Patroclus, I'm going to be fine. If they take me, I will be fine. I'll just go back home. And he's thinking, oh, you're right. They're your liberators. But I just don't understand. Achilles just doesn't care. And she was his first wife. I think they're married. Are they married to all of these women? I don't know. There's 11 of them, I think. And Achilles and Patroclus are just, they were going back and forth saving all these women. But I need to know what is going on. This has been drawn out for so long. Oh, and I realized, okay, so with the prophecy and with Achilles, if Achilles kills Hector, then he will be the chosen boy of the war. He will become godlike. However, if he kills Hector, shortly after, according to this prophecy, Achilles will also die in the war. So that is why Achilles cannot kill Hector. And everyone with Achilles' camp, like at his camp, they're getting frustrated. This has been a decade of their life, and they're asking him, why have you never tried to kill Hector? You've had thousands of chances. But no one knows about the prophecy except for Patroclus and Achilles' mom. But I'm ready for this book to be over. All right, we have reached the part where the Trojans have broken into the campsite, where the Trojans have just set up their homes for the last decade. They are raiding the campsite, and one of the Greeks looks at Patroclus and says, I don't know who I hate more, the Trojans or Achilles. So we've reached the part, I wouldn't call this a spoiler. We already knew at the beginning of this book how it was gonna go. I told you all about the Iliad and the Odyssey. So, I mean, we've reached the part where, Achilles is refusing to go into battle. So Patroclus dresses up as him and goes into battle. But Patroclus is supposed to stay in the chariot. He's just there for people to see him and think that he's Achilles, and I guess give them, I don't know, more motivation to win this war. I don't know. But it gets out that it's not actually Achilles, it's Patroclus. And then, I don't know, he's like out of the chariot and he's killing people, and he's actually really good. I mean, Patroclus is a good warrior. And then Hector shows up, and we all know what Hector does. And so the chapter ends with Patroclus laying there thinking about Achilles. Patroclus is no longer with us, and Achilles is off his rocker. Achilles has lost it. So of course we know the next part. We know that Achilles is going to go kill Hector, but what I didn't know is that he's not ready to bury Patroclus. He's just clinging on to his deceased body. He puts him in the bed with him and spends the night with the deceased Patroclus, Achilles does, and then it's been a couple of days, and to contain the smell of a decaying body, he has him wrapped in blankets, still in his tent. And then he does what he does to Hector, and he's just dragging him around the campsite. Hector is going with him everywhere, and Hector is also deceased now. And Achilles is getting into it with his mom. Of course, his mom, the last thing she says to him is, "I'm glad he's dead," talking about Patroclus. It got intense. Patroclus is finally, I don't even want to say buried. I guess he was kind of cremated. He was set on fire. And then it's a woman's job to put all the ashes in an urn, but Achilles does it. He won't let anyone touch Patroclus. And then Achilles told everyone that when Achilles dies, he wants their ashes together. He wants them mingled together, I think is how he put it. And then, of course, now we've reached the part with Paris, and he has pointed his arrow at Achilles. So now we've got that going on. We're almost done, y'all. Sorry, that was my cat. She sneezed. Hello, it is 11:37 p.m. and I'm finally done with this book. Y'all, I did not like this book. I was so bored. I just feel as if nothing was happening. And even the romance, I would not classify this as a romance book. And it's so funny because I was reading some of the reviews on Amazon and Goodreads, and I read all the reviews, whether it's 1 star, 2, 3, 4, 5 star. I'm just curious what people thought of the book. A lot of people love this book. They love it. This is a 4, 4.5, 5 star book for people. So I'm not in the majority. I'm in the lower tier. I'm so sorry. This book was not for me. I wanted it to be for me. It's classified as what is it marketed as? A Greek retelling with romance at the forefront. There was barely any romance. But what's interesting is some of the 1-star reviews were saying this was gay erotica. There was one scene. What are you talking about, gay erotica? There was one scene. Okay, so if you're looking for smut, you're not getting that here. But I don't know. I was so bored with this book. I'm so glad that it's done. It is almost midnight, and it is about to be July 1st. So I finished this on June 30th. So this is my last book for June, and I'm just going to give it 3 stars. I don't like rating books 2 stars or 1 stars unless it's poorly written, needed an editor. I don't know. This book was fine. The writing was all right. It was very lyrical and flowery. It wasn't for me. This just wasn't a book for me, but it's a book for everyone else though. So read it. Please read it if you want to. I just didn't have the greatest time with it, but the general consensus is people love this book. So I am so sad that it didn't work out for me. I think I just wanted it to be more of a romance book, like the romance at the forefront with all the Greek mythology and the war kind of, just maybe a little bit in the plot and keeping it going. But I just wanted more romance, and I just didn't get that. And I was just really bored with reading about the war in every chapter, and then nothing was happening in every chapter. So anyways, thank y'all so much for coming along on this journey with me, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.